Okay. Good morning. I'm Ana Luisa Gomes. I am an environmental researcher. I'm going to present the Cross Nature project. I'm going to read the presentation. I'm sorry, but I think it's better for all of us. Before presenting the Cross Nature project, I would like to refer the DGT mission. DGT is the Portuguese public agency responsible for different tasks in land use planning and geographic information domains, as well as for the development of research supported by national or European funding. DGT is responsible for the production of national topographic reference cartography, management of national geodetic networks, the coordination of the National System of Territorial Information, SNIT, and the National System of Cadastral Information, SNIC. But the two aspects I would like to highlight is the DGT is the coordination of the Portuguese National Spatial Data Infrastructure, the SNIG, and the coordination of the INSPIRE implementation in Portugal. So, Cross Nature is a project co-financed by the European Union through the Connecting People Facility, the CEF program. And the focus of my presentation will be on the current state of this project that aims to develop an Iberian spatial data infrastructure using linked open data. The project consortium involves DGT and two Spanish partners, the Traxa Group, the coordinator of this project, and the University Carlos III from Madrid. MAPAMA and ICNF are institutional data providers that are not part of the consortium but support the project development. So, the DGT team involves several people with different academic backgrounds and professional experience. However, the nuclear team is composed by these four elements. Ricardo and Paulo was the informatic persons that could not come, so I am the coordinator, so I am here to present the work that is being developed. It's a 2 years project that starts in May 2017. Here we have the main objectives of the project. They are to develop a digital service infrastructure using data sets on biodiversity from Portuguese and Spanish public entities, and to adopt the linked open data approach, to identify new data of interest and to add value to this information, to improve access to new sources of knowledge, and to provide better services to citizens. Before proceeding to the presentation of the project, we make a brief reference to the load approach, because it's one of the most core issues of this project. So, linked open data can be defined in different ways. We can see some of them, but following key ideas can be highlighted. First, LOD is for publishing structured data on the web. The data are linked with different sources and in different formats, incorporating URIs, ontology, and relations. So it's a machine-readable format. LOD contributes to identify new data of interest in the web, to add value to this information, combining multiple data sets, and to improve access to new sources of knowledge. In this slide, we can see that there are different levels of linked open data. At first level, the data is available on the web, for instance, as PDF. At second level, the data is available as machine-readable, structured data, such as Excel spreadsheet. At third level, the data is available in the non-proprietary format, in open layers formats, such as CSV. Fourth, the data is published using open data standards, using URIs, such as RDF format. The 5-star level includes all of the others properties plus linked data, namely linked open data such as linked RDF. In Portugal, the public administrations are usually at 3-star level. They have a lot of data, but information is not prepared to be linked with other, as requested at load approach. So, the Cross-Nature project emerged as an innovative approach in the Portuguese public administration, because he wants to go to the 5-star level. RDF format is a key issue in all this process. So RDF stands for resource as everything that can have a unique identifier, a URI. The description, that means attributes, features, and relations of the resources, and framework as model, language, and syntax for this description. In RDF, every piece of information is expressed in the triple, as a subject, predicate, and object. The subject is the resources, which may be identified with a URI. The predicate is a URI identifier of the relationship between subject and object. And object, a resource to which the subject is related. This is the project workflow and includes these phases. The first one, the geographic. We have the geographic and alphanumeric information that comes from different sources in Portugal and Spain and in different formats. I'm sorry because the numbers change. It was in PowerPoint, not on open source. I'm very sorry. So this was the first, second, so five levels in the methodology. So the first one is the information, and it's necessary to harmonize and transform the data to be integrated in the interoperable way. And second, we have to define the ontologies and the vocabularies to be used considering the best practice. So we are using the existing ontologies and vocabularies, making it easier to find data complementary to ours and decreasing the chance that our information to be reused by others. Then we are going to implement the current the RDF syntax and semantics, and we are going to storage where we are going to store the triplets. Then we are going to create web interfaces to facilitate AP access with implementation of endpoints, which will guarantee free access to all data for reuse. It includes a SPARQL endpoint interface to query data. Finally, we are going to develop 2 use cases to present the technology in use. It includes the definition and implementation of interfaces, functionalities to be included in websites and applications for mobile devices. Then I are going to present you the use cases to demonstrate the concept and the potential of the load approach. The first one, the first scenario, is designated. Okay, we can call it the protected species use case. To reuse open data reported by the European states under the Habitats and Birds directives. For this use case, it was established the creation of Iberian Cross-Nature endpoint and an app based on the famous Who is Who game that will read from cross-nature endpoints and from other external endpoints. Okay. This is the methodology. There are several steps that have to be undertaken following the work and the data flow. That in general, first it is necessary to prepare the original data and performing the INSPIRE harmonization to produce a GML INSPIRE compliant file. To map an ontology, to transform data into a RDF format and store this data in the RDF triplet database. This and other databases will be available and by the cross-nature endpoint that will be produced using the Virtuoso server. In the end, the app is being developed to use cross-nature shared data, showing the potential of LOD approach. Now, going step by step, first it is necessary to know the data we are using. So, we are using the ECNF report under the Habitats and Birds directives that are stored in two different formats, shapefile and access database. They are in the AONET website. Everyone can go and get there. The shapefile is the source of geographic information, and the access database is the source of alphanumeric data. Some other auxiliary data are also stored in the SVS files and was used to complement the original data. Currently, we are evaluating the possibility to use more data from external sources as Flora on another database. Under the INSPIRE directive, I think all of you know what is INSPIRE directive, the main official geographical data sets have to be reported compliant with INSPIRE regulations, including metadata production, data sets harmonization, data sharing, and web services. So the INSPIRE has 34 environmental thematic data, and our data are included in the species distribution team. So this information must respect data specification for this INSPIRE team. To do that, the species distribution data specification document presents a UML that establishes the elements to be filled, their relations, the multiplicity, and the obligations of that fields. For the harmonization process, we use the Whale, an open source software. With the Whale software, it is possible to do a mapping between the target INSPIRE schema and our source schema, including the shapefile and the data in the SVS file format. In this the result of this process, we produce an harmonized INSPIRE GML. Next step. To pass from GML to RDF format, it is necessary to create an ontology to give meaning to our data as we are working with semantic web. To do that, we use the open source Portoget ontology editor, allowing to create classes of plant, in this case, plant characteristics, their own relations, and classification classes. So this slide shows an example of ontologies created for the mobile app. The next step is the transformation of the GML in RDF. INSPIRE has already some guidelines for this process. We are going to use Jena software, where the GML file is processed using the computed ontology and data is transformed to RDL. Also, in this case, the RDF is also INSPIRE compliant. Jena is a free open source Java framework for building semantic web and linked data applications. So here we can see some outputs already. So the project will develop 2 cross-nature endpoints, one in Portugal and at DGT, and other for Spain. The cross-nature endpoints will provide data for an app that also consume information for other external endpoints, like UNIS, it's a classification database, and UniProt. Here you can see an example for WOLF. This geographic information is already coming from both countries, so we can see in the border they are overlay. As I refer, a mobile app based on Who is Who game to identify endangered species is under development. That will allow the user to search for species characteristics and identifying species according to their characteristics. I'm going to show how. So, in the first case, to select the species based on a list of species according to their characteristics in the mockup 1, that in the mockup 2, 3, and 4 present the data set for species with the detailed information and photos. The last mockup displays the species spatial distribution in Iberian Peninsula. This mockup show what will be the app, the mobile app that consume information from endpoints, cross-nation endpoints. The second is made with the Who is Who game. So we get a list of multiple choice questions about the species. Then we provide the answers. We also can take a photo, and using artificial intelligence components help to identify the species that we see. So we are in the field, we see a species, and we want to identify it. When completed, this lists the characteristics and the spatial distribution of the species in the Peninsula Iberia. These are the second scenario that are related to alien invasive species. And it consists in the creation of harmonized data model oriented toward alien invasive species presence using data sets from Portugal. In Portugal, we are going to use the Vespa velutina, it's Asian Vespa, in Portugal, is an invasive species, which allow to identify the spatial patterns related to their expression in both countries. Those are So in this case, we have these phases. First, we have created an invasive risk map based on geographical information modeling in the GIS desktop environment. We are going to use the SOS Vespa data that will provide access to the distribution of Vespa velutina. So in this case, we are still studying the most appropriate process to carry out the data transformation. We are going to host the data in cross-nature endpoint, and for the creation of the final output will be a map viewer using open layers. So the web portal of SOS Vespa is managed by ICNF. It's available on the web and includes information about the actual, so it's always updated, of Vespa velutina in Portugal. And we are still considering the possibility of incorporating other data, such as the services from invasoras.pt portal and data from European Alien Species Information Network. On this use case, will be development a map viewer to identify invasive species presence, which functions will allow finding information about species, namely their detailed characteristics and photos, viewing the actual spatial distribution and its potential distribution with the risk map, and performing spatial analysis for identifying priority areas for intervention. So, I would like to conclude to show which are the main cross-nature outcomes. So this project will produce species distribution data sets harmonized according INSPIRE, 2 cross-nature endpoints, one in Portugal and other in Spain, with open access to all data, and a map viewer for invasive species control, and a mobile app for citizens to identify species. It is expected that cross-nature project will contribute for DGT to enrich the SNIG development, considering their update and modernization, to achieve better cooperation in public agencies, in Portugal and at international level, to apply the LOAD approach to inspire harmonized data, which is very innovative in Portugal and probably in Europe, and to disseminate the LOAD approach across others partners and other public entities. While improving the use of linked open data approach in Portugal, we will be contributing to make the data more searchable, assessed, connected, and used. At last, we are here, the people from other cross-nature partners of the consortium and from the data providing supporting entities, MAPAMA and ICNF. Their work is crucial to achieve the results foreseen for the project. So you can follow the development and the results of Cross-Nature project through those social media, the project portal, Facebook, Twitter, and here are the links to do that. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Anna. Questions?
Oops.
Okay. We have the microphone.
Thank you for your presentation. Thank you for your presentation. I wanted to ask about the reason why you chose RDF as your data format. What's behind the decision?
The RDF format? Well, as I said, it is the main technology partner here is University of Carlos III of Madrid, and those are we are learning those technology, and the RDF, I think, is a XML file, and it's the better way to organize the triplets. I hope I'm not telling nothing that it's not right, but as I see the things, it's a better way to organize the subject, predicate, object triplets that are needed to link the data. So that's the format we are using to do the linked open data. I'm not expert. The two guys couldn't come, but that's how I think this works.
Thank you for the presentation. I'm not really going to ask something, but it's just a comment or a thought, and forgive me if it's a wrong thing I will say, but when I saw for the VESPA study that the sightings, one thing that occurs to me is that our density of population on that territory, we have 85% of population of people on the coast side of our country.
Yes.
So you see in Porto, you see lots of sightings, but inside on the interior, on the Trás-os-Montes, Minho, there are some sightings, but just my comment is this, or observation is, if you are going to use this in a statistical way or something like that, be careful, because we know that lots of people are in the center of Porto, Lisbon. Of course, there are more sightings there, but it's not, we know that we can have more of these intrusive alien
Yes.
on the on the Trás-os-Montes. Just my comment is to be very careful using this information, because technology is on the center of where the people are, and maybe some weights for pondering where the species is living. This is just an observation.
No, you are right. There is a relation between the number of scenes and the population, of course. But in this case, that's why there is a risk map. So the information that is built, this risk map, has a lot of variables, climatic, about the species. And we use this risk map to do the distribution and the way that VESPA will be expanding. The expert said that VESPA came from started near Porto, perhaps in the ships, coming by ships, and they are it is expanding very fast. In Spain, they have less VESPA, and so ICNF chose this species because it's very important to ICNF, and for us it's okay to do the use case with that. But you are right. That's why we have the risk map.
More questions? No? Thank you, Ana. I'm finished. Yeah. And I call the João, please. Biquac, is this name? Biquac, sorry.